Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Good morning, John. Good morning, Tom. MS, Crazy Eddie, Vigo, John, Sherbert. Good morning, good morning. If you guys can please like the video, I appreciate it. Sale, Mantance, Michelle or Michael, MS. Yeah, it does, MS, it does. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to take a trade today. If you're here just for a trade, I mean, politely, you can just exit the video. Just collapse the video and move on to the next one, my friend. It's not what we're here for. Name is Brian. What's up, Brian? You get tired of reading names? No. There's the real Brian. What up, Brian? Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm getting a little drained of these lives. I don't know if you could tell. I'm trying not to be on the negative side, but I'm getting a little tired. No need to push anything today. Yeah, thank you. What's NFP? I don't see it on the calendar. I mean, it's not this week. We do have a news event driver. We did already have one, but we have one at the Silver Bullet hour, so. Love the live like you like the candles. I don't think that's yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and put the charts on the screen here. Again, if you guys can like the video, there's 200 of you in here. Just take 1 second, click the like button. Does not take that long to do so. Let me know if you can see the charts in here. Yeah, Lucas, it is what it is. You can? Okay, cool. Alright, so, I mean, again, I don't see anything that's like, wow, this is something I'm going to be stalking today. You can't be so eager to be willing to participate inside of the markets. I mean, that's my perspective, the way I look at it. You guys saw it yesterday. If you went over the daily log, again, if you're actually a real student of mine, you're watching the daily logs. You're taking notes. You're being studious. The people who have, this sounds not egotistical, but the best students of mine who have came through me have watched my daily logs. They've taken notes. They've done the due diligence, and I believe those logs are very, very helpful. If you're just on here learning, that's awesome. If you're only here for signals, again, it's not the place to be. I don't see the reason to do so. But in general, when I'm looking at the market, especially yesterday, it was a low probability day. Even looking at today, I don't find it extremely high probability. And there's multiple reasons for that. Again, if we're looking at the higher time frames, this is our last point of interest. If price is going to expand higher, then it would need to respect this area of interest. It would need to. And preferably, it would need to leave probably the vast majority of this inefficiency open, because that would act as a breakaway gap. It would indicate to me that price, it wants some type of speed. It wants to get somewhere quickly. I don't want to just see it sit inside of this inefficiency for a long period of time. When I look at the lower time frames, this is where I'm looking at it this morning, and I mean, it's 50-50 to me. We've talked about yesterday the 4-hour time frame. I mean, the only thing I can really utilize currently is this inversion, which really doesn't mean a whole lot to me. But currently, that's where we're resting on the 4-hour time frame. Go down to a 1-hour time frame. This is where, to me, it's 50-50 in here. If somebody is telling you that this is high probability, then I don't know what they're talking about. Why is that, CJ? Why is it low probability? Well, on the 1 hour, you have, I'm just going to annotate, yes, there's a breaker in here, but I'm going to annotate this reclaimed SIBI, and then look at both sides of the board. What are we doing? We're range bound with buy side above us. So we take this away for a second. You can see buy side liquidity is here. Sell side is here. And what are we doing? We're basically returning back to equilibrium of the range. So anybody trying to push inside of this would have a hard time, a difficult time finding traction, finding something, you know, whether it's long or short, because you're in a range bound. You haven't made it a new high, you haven't made a new low, and you're inside of a range with buy side and sell side beneath us. So again, that would be a low probability condition to me. I'm not trying to push in a condition like this because I don't know what side it wants to go for. It could go for either of them. And trying to dictate that and trying to pick a side is, to me, gambling. Unless there is something on the higher time frame where when you're in consolidation like this, the only thing that would override basically looking for lower prices is the narrative is bullish. So I could elect to believe that the sell side could be left for a later point in time, but I don't know that. It could very well rally off and go towards the sell side. And then you're left sitting here, you know, trying to trade inside of this condition. Does that make sense? Hopefully to the newer students, you know, when you're trying to figure out a low probability condition, how do I know when to sit on the sidelines? When do I not do anything? To me, this is what I'm looking at. Same thing as yesterday. So, what's up, Accidental? I'm trying to read the chat here in case I missed something. Romer, what's up? The background of your chart is a little too bright. Again, I mean, it's all personal because, I mean, somebody else could say it's not, so I'm leaving it the way it is. Yep, 100%. Thank you, Tom. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I mean, as far as what I'm looking at this morning, I mean, what's the point of trying to call a direction in here? Especially if you're in a range-bound condition like this where you have buy side and you have sell side, and then you're sitting, or at least you keep returning back to the equilibrium of that range. What is that telling you? If you keep coming back to this 50% here, I mean, that's just 50-50 at that moment, because it could go for sell side, it could go for buy side. And what's the point of me trying to pick a side and gamble inside of that? The only way I'd be semi-confident in taking a trade before one of these have taken it out is if price trades to, let's say, you know, the last 25%, as I mentioned before, to that buy side or the sell side. Even then, so we could have it just like this, where you trade all the way down to the sell side and price reverts, because it's just engineering liquidity. So even in these conditions, I don't utilize that model that I've taught, because it can be lower probability in these conditions as well, as it could stop, you know, right before taking out buy side or sell side and then revert. So I may do nothing today. Only way I'd probably participate is if we take out one side, and if it wants to continue or reverse, then I'll participate. Otherwise, I have to sit on the sidelines and do nothing. And some people, they don't have the patience to do that. They don't want to do that. And that's entirely up to them and their personality. But if they want to risk the money, they want to risk their mental capital in this, then by all means do so. Me personally, I'm not going to do it. So for those who are looking for signals, you're probably not going to get that today. And if you're wondering what the reality is of a trader and what you go through, I mean, you're going to go through conditions where price is doing nothing. It's low probability. I can't find a direction. So I have to sit still. And even if price took out the buy side, it doesn't mean that price is going to revert or reverse from there. It could continue higher. Same thing for the sell side. So good morning, everybody who's joining in. If you could please like the video, I'd appreciate it. It'd mean a lot. So we do have a news event driver, which is 30 minutes after the open. So if anything, if I was trading today, looking for a trade, it would be at that particular moment in time. Imagine trying to trade in here. I mean, I could see just from this bullish structure, excuse me, just from this little segment of price, what I'm looking at here, on like a 30-minute time frame, even 15-minute if I go down to it. What is it doing? It's in a bullish market structure, but this very well easily could break. right? And this thing could trade down on the sell side. We could get all the way near the sell side, and people are trying to pick off shorts down here, and then price reverts. It does the same thing we did yesterday here. So my advice is to stay out of a condition like this and just tape read it. Same thing as yesterday. Oh man, CJ, I don't want to do that again. That was boring. Think about the mindset that you have when people say these type of things. It's like, I don't want to tape read. I don't want to sit on sidelines. It's a very immature mindset where you want to do something all the time. You want action. You want dopamine. That's not the reality of what we're doing here. You have to be able to wait in conditions where it's not favorable. And if you're not willing to do so, then I don't understand the mindset behind it. Yes, it's boring. I don't enjoy conditions like this, but what is the other option? The other option, most of you believe that there's a third option. To me, the only other option is to lose. That's literally the only option. It's either sit on the sidelines or I lose. There's no, oh, maybe I win, maybe I can get something in here. Maybe today I can just get a little bit lucky, you know. No, it doesn't work. Like, you can't believe that there's another option. There's two options. Sit on the sidelines or you do nothing. Or slash, you lose. So, hopefully it makes sense. Toonser, awesome to hear. CJ, when liquidity is taken on either side, what signals do you look for to determine if price will keep moving in that direction or not? Is this something you would look specifically to trade? It's a good question. I mean, it just depends on what. It's not going to answer your question, but it depends what price is looking like. I mean, there's certain signatures on higher time frames. If it looks as if the higher time frame wants to continue higher and it wants to leave that other side, whether it's buy side or sell side, then I can trust the idea that, okay, we're probably going to leave the sell side for a later point, and I could see prices in a hurry to maybe get towards that high there. Then I would elect to just keep pushing along, and I would understand that, you know, it's going to leave the sell side for a later point. Vice versa. Digital nomad. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you gotta, you know, it's harsh medicine, but you need it. I mean, I'm not saying all of you need it, but I'm sure there's somebody that needs to hear that. I mean, I know I would. Again, if you're just tuning in, I would appreciate if you would like the video. It'd help the video, help the stream. We only got 127 likes in it. So, Casper, what's up? Good to see you. Mentally drained, should I not study? Yeah, just give yourself a break. Get off the charts. I mean, this is where trading you can't compare it to many other industries. I mean, when you're tired, you're fatigued, and you don't have energy, you can't go into the market expecting that, you know, you can just bypass that. You can't. Unfortunately, you have to let yourself rest and be in the best optimal mental position. Otherwise, I mean, you're just going to do yourself damage. Again, this goes back to that thought process of like, I've said this before. It may make sense to you all. It may not make sense to me. But whenever you're in a condition like this, or like you just stated there, where you're mentally drained, a person believes that there's three options, right? That either I can get in the market today. I'm mentally drained. I'm tired. Low probability conditions. So I can get in there. I can get something out of the market. So that's option A. Option B is I lose. There's no other option. Like, I just lose that day. Or three, you sit on the sidelines. So most people believe that there's three options, right? I only believe that there's two. When there's low probability conditions, it's either I'm losing or I stay out of the market. There's no I'm winning. That's not even an option on the table. Because if I believe in a condition like today, like, yeah, I can get in here, I could win something, I could do something, then you're falsely setting that expectation up for yourself. I don't even allow myself to have that option. Because if I do, then I'm going to probably go in here and be like, you know what, I can maybe get something out of this. It just doesn't work. I've been through too many losses. I've been through too much pain where I just understand that that's not even an option. It won't work. Hopefully that analogy, I don't even know what it is, an example. I mean, it made sense to me it's what I created in my head. Yeah, Dow. I've been ignoring Dow. I mean, ever since I personally have talked to ICT, not personally, but I guess you could say that over messaging. He said to ignore Dow, and ever since I've done that, actually my trading's really improved in terms of looking at just ES and NQ and comparing them. And Dow's just weird, man. If anything, yeah, we're gonna wait for the news driver event. So anything in here, it's really non-significant to me. We see here. Thanks for sharing your experience. You only trade the silver bullet? Yeah. I mean, yes and no. For the live streams, yes. If I don't find anything in the AM session, I'll elect to trade the PM session silver bullet. I can trade a lot of hours if I wish. I'm not saying that, but for anybody to do so, I'm trying to lead by example. But I mean, I have 6 years of doing this, like 5 years with ICT, so I could trade at any time. I just choose to mainly trade the AM silver bullet. Do you use quarter theory? No. You consider ES through the day or just in specific moments? Good question. Yeah, only in specific moments where if I can't get into NQ and I believe that ES is the sixth sister and it's following through with it, then I'll trade ES. I've done it a few times on live already. Zuzi, take notes. Chew what I did yesterday. Andreas, I don't know. I forget. Thank you. I'll just go relax. Yeah, best option, man. I mean, what are the other conditions that you wouldn't trade? Seek and destroy. I mean, even yesterday was a great example of the condition I wouldn't want to trade. Like this. In hindsight, I mean, some people may have caught something and you may have been profitable, but I talked about this in the daily log. It's like if you laid out that template for somebody over a course of a year and you recorded their stats and how well they did, I would like to believe that you're not going to be profitable. It's just, to me, it's mere impossible. So to me, again, going back to the statement, is I just don't trade. There's no, I maybe can get in there. No, it's just zero, zip. I can't do anything. NQ is the best but most challenging market to trade. I'll rip your head off. Yeah, most definitely. I like NQ's volatility. It makes me happy. Making myself a tea, getting ready to jump on the charts. Nice. Hey man, is it dumb to use the previous high / low as liquidity level for silver bullet? No. It's actually really good. You want to utilize previous session highs and lows, and if it's nothing to work with that day, then you can't work with it. Yeah, no, I most definitely I do it. You could look at previous date, like when coming in the session, you could look at previous session highs and lows. What London session, where the highs and lows at. Previous New York session highs and lows. Look at the previous day highs and lows, and work with those. Like that's the easiest way to probably begin trading, is looking at those 3 things, and then figuring out which one is it going to go for. So if I saw something like, now I'm looking at price and what it's doing. Gun to my head, I mean, this, I know somebody said that yesterday, I say it a lot, but I have to say it because otherwise people are not going to know what I'm thinking. I would believe that we're going to run for the sell side in here, because if you look at just the 4-hour order flow and what we've been doing recently, even the 1 hour, we have our bearish order block here. Look at the body of it. Look at where the bodies are respecting beautifully. Look at the 1 hour time frame. We have this reclaimed inefficiency here, which was inside of our premium. So this order flow is kind of telling me lower prices are to be expected. Now, this is where in consolidation, this type of movement, right, this type of drop lower, is very much like a Medusa rattlesnake. It could very well trade in the sell side and keep going. But you can see this is the best example, like yesterday, where you had this sudden drop lower, and people are going to look to the left of them, see relative equal lows, and they're going to try to chase this. Same thing in here. Price could immediately just revert and use this as basic classic support and resistance. And this is where it's engineering sell side liquidity, meaning that they're building up more of a liquidity pool. So there's a lot of times in consolidation where I get caught doing that, where price is trading close to my liquidity, and I'd be like, all right, it's finally going to take it out. And I'd be trying to short down here, and then it would run and stop me out because it's just in consolidation. So the best case scenario is just to let it run through the sell side. And if you still think that there's more meat, on the bone to be expanding lower, then you can elect to keep trading that. The other option is if it takes sell side, does it want to reverse to go back to buy side? That's another option on the table. And here it's just a difficult place to trade. It's a difficult place to find an entry. In the best case scenario, what I would recommend is just wait for it to trade through it. You're not missing anything. Sir, add stat bar for weekly, monthly. I mean, you could just go back to the lives, man. I don't know why that's important. T-Man, it's all right, man. Yeah, Gordon. Good morning, Bree. So yeah, I mean, you could see in here, like if you go down to a 15-minute time frame, 5 minute, 1 minute. I would want displacement through the low. If we start reversing, it's just back to the 50% of the range, isn't it? Are you talking about the sell side, Tom? If it takes out the sell side? Good, Marco. Because if we took out sell side, either A, we could carry through it, or B, yeah, I mean, we could return back to 50% of the range, or we could run for the buy side. I mean, if you look at this, it could be this entire area is what? Accumulation. You could have manipulation and distribution to the backs, to the upside, right? I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I mean, this is a scenario that could happen, right? It could look like this. We could just take out the sell side and we could continue off lower like this. So you have to determine that. That's where you as the analyst, you come in and you say, all right, like what's the factors? You start looking at the higher time frames, you look at intermarket relationships, you look at different, circumstances and variables, and you see, all right, does it want to continue lower or does it want to reverse and move higher? And if you have enough evidence for either side, then obviously you execute on the idea. I mean, there's not many scenarios that are going to happen in this condition. It's, it's going to take out one side or the other. Either it's going to keep following through with it or it's going to reverse. Like that's it. But in here, to make a decision and try to, say which side it's going to go for, I find that to be, to me, gambling. That's, unless I had very strong conviction, unless I knew from a higher time frame standpoint and I had other variables that were pointing that it was going to run for the sell side, then I would, or the buy side, then I would take it. But a lot of the times like this, it traps people. It's very easy to get caught thinking that it's going to run for a certain liquidity and then it'll completely reverse on you. Because in here, I hope it does, because I would love to show the example. Like in here, a lot of people may look at this displacement and they say, all right, cool, like now it's going to run for the sell side. Let's short this thing. And then it rips your head off. So it's best to do nothing. This is where profitable traders are made. These type of conditions, if you're able to sit out of them, you're able to do nothing, and then you're able to flourish in the good conditions, man, that's, that's where profitability is made. If you want to ask about profitability, how do I reach that? Well, you have to be willing to sit through these conditions, sit on your hands, not do anything. Like that's how profitability is made. It's not through cool entry patterns and getting the best RR. It's being able to sit through terrible conditions and not execute on it. Bree, that's the reason why I don't trade indices. I don't have spread. Futures doesn't have spread. you please tell us what you see in DXY? Sure. Just because it's useful. I mean, this thing's still a mess. Lucas, I mean, I'll utilize it for an entry pattern. It's not an end-all be-all for me. SMT and just the terms of just looking at the other indexes can give you a lot of information. I mean, if you want to go from top down, you want to look at ES, NQ, and YM together, and you want to see, all right, mainly ES and NQ. If you're trading those, you want to pay attention to those two assets the most. You want to see, are they in tangent with each other, meaning are they moving in sync with each other? If they're decoupled, completely doing opposite things, that's going to let you know that you probably shouldn't be trading. That's a decoupled market. So I'm looking at that. B, SMT divergence. I'm looking, all right, how, is there a SMT divergence to confirm the trade idea that I already had? I mean, there's a few ways to utilize those relationships. Roosta, what's up, brother? I was actually wondering about you. I thought about you yesterday. I haven't seen you in a couple days. Hope you're doing well. Tom, amazing, man. That warms my heart. That means a lot, to be honest, man. Like, that means more. Tom stated, for those who I know don't have the chat open, since I've been watching, I've gone from 7 to 8 trades per week down to 4 just by learning when to expect these conditions. Saved my ass so many times. Grateful. And that's what I want to hear, because again, the silver lining between profitability and being unprofitable or even break even is that little point in time where you're taking unnecessary trades in unnecessary conditions. If you're able to exit those trades out of your trading, right? If you look at your stats and you look at your strategy, if you're able to just pull those stupid little trades out, then you can just get a little bit ahead, whether it's right at break even. This is what got me out of break even. I was at break even for a long time, which is not a bad place to be. If you're in it, you're at a good spot, because you just need to make a little bit of an adjustment to get to that profitability. But these are the little adjustments you need to make, is getting out of these poor conditions, not taking what I would call shitty setups, poor quality, low grading setups. If you're able to exit those, you're not going to do all the time, but if you're able to consistently, that's what's going to push you into that profitability zone. This is what's holding you back, really. Dove Gordon, there's a plus breaker on the 1 hour with top at 17,617. Does that make it likely we'll go down? We could just leave that breaker. It doesn't need to trade down to it. What did you say? 17 what? 17,617. That's way down here. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even really look at that. No signal, CJ. Good to see you in here, Brian. It's refreshing, man. It's refreshing to see somebody who's been through it, understands it. Gonna purchase my first futures challenge account this week. Stoked and nervous because I'm used to MT5. Yeah, it's all right, man. Like I said, just take it slow. If you have the data to show you they're profitable, I mean, I understand the nervousness behind it, but allow yourself to make mistakes. Allow yourself to, be okay if you fail this challenge. It's not the end of the world, man. Don't put so much emphasis on it. If I fail this, it's the end of my life. It isn't, man. You'll be just fine. What up, Nico? No, you're good, brother. You know the vibes here. I'm very patient. Is the stream good? Getting like a buffer wheel. I think it's good. Roosta, thanks for having me, bro. Been good. Had to go out yesterday, so missed your live. Yeah, it's all right, man. No, indices have spreads. Like index futures, no, they do not. Indices, yes, like CFDs, US 100, US 500, US 30, those all have spreads. Those are CFDs. Yeah, it's live is lagging. It says excellent condition now, so it should be good now. Let me know if it's all good now. Is good now? I just want to make sure before I go on a rant, do something. Don't let me forget, I have dollar index on here for a reason. Somebody asked about going over this. Looks like it's back, I mean, as far as on what I'm seeing. Dollar index. This is unclear to me. I've stated this over the weekend. It's a little bit difficult to read in here. It is now? Okay, cool. Yeah, it says excellent. So, I mean, to top everything else off with NQ, kind of the cherry on top, right, is dollar index is providing no clarity. It's not moving in a one-sided fashion where it's easy to see, all right, dollar index is moving higher, it's moving lower. And if it was, then I could easily see, where NQ would probably trade to. So in here on the weekly time frame, there's a small inefficiency in here. And it's still just a very low, poor quality price action. This thing could trade higher, it could trade off lower. So it to me, it's 50-50. Even looking at the daily time frame, we've been struggling to move higher. I mean, the last point of interest is, that's bullish order block in here, and particularly, really the last upper portions of it. But to be honest with you, I believe the dollar index may want to trade off lower in here. Could very well not. But what would that mean for us if we're trading NQ? Is if dollar index decides to drop lower, then we would have to expect higher prices in NQ. If this thing traded off higher, then I would expect lower prices in NQ. So let's say, for an example, that dollar index was really heavily bullish in here. It was very easy to see that it was seeking higher prices. Then in here, in this consolidation, I could elect to believe that, all right, I could probably trade in it. I'm not saying you're supposed to, but I could trade in it like a condition like that where I would expect lower prices because I have that extra kind of confluence. I have that extra padding where, all right, dollar index is trading off higher. Everything else is in sync. It would help the analysis. How does DXY correlate? It's an opposite correlation. So if dollar index moves higher, these will move lower. If this goes lower, these will move higher. And there's times where I don't utilize it. I don't look at it, especially when price hasn't done anything for the last week or so. Look at the range. So if we're ever in a condition like this, I just disregard dollar index and I just solely look at NQ and the price action that we're having. Yeah, everybody's stating in here what price is doing, but to me, it's doing nothing. Like, there's nothing to be said. There's nothing to talk about. You can make any assumption you really want. It's going higher, it's going lower. Like I talked about this yesterday, it's such a good example to look at any chat room. When price is indecisive, you can look at a chat room and you can immediately feel the energy that people are thinking about, the emotions behind it. Like it's such a clear example. I can't express it enough, like how important it is just to not trade in these conditions. Because people are calling longs, they're calling shorts, they're thinking this, they're thinking that. I'm thinking nothing. What's the smartest idea? What's the smartest person in the room? They're sitting back doing nothing. They're letting everybody else just fight over everything. Have the crumbs, man. You can fight over the crumbs and fight over the little things on the floor, the little piece of cheese. I don't care. I'll wait for when there's a feast on the table and I'll just take it all. Y'all can fight over these little breadcrumbs. I don't care. Like, that's the way my mentality is when I look at price and I look at the overall sentiment of people. Like, to me, it's hilarious. I'm not saying it's you guys. If you go to any chat probably right now, it's probably up, down, sideways. We're going here, we're going there. Like, Jay, I saw your question. Yes, I journal my trades. I actually just recently over the weekend bought TradeZilla. I actually didn't realize it's not that bad. It's actually like, with a discount I had, it was like $23 a month, $24 a month. So, we're used to like talking to a therapist, right? That's alright, brother. I mean, if you had a losing week, you lost yourself. It's fine, man. I've done it so many times. It's ridiculous. You just got to come back to the drawing board, figure out what you did wrong, make those adjustments, and go right back at it. Yeah, so we have a news event driver coming out in about 2 minutes here. But do you see how some people, you could easily see how price drifted off lower, and some people are trying to short this. They're trying to get into this market. And the price is rallying higher, and it could rip their face off. So it's just the best condition to do nothing. I hope we really expand higher, and I hope we drop lower again, just to showcase how easy it is to get yourself hurt. Greg, not immediately after every trade. I mean, I like to decompress, and like I go to the gym immediately after every single session. That's my way of decompressing. But then after, yes, whether it's later in the day, whenever I really have time to do it, the best is to do it when it's fresh in your mind. But sometimes I like to let myself just kind of relax, and then I'll go into it with a clear mindset of what happened, whether it was right or wrong. How do you get the big daily candle? It's the syndicator ICT higher time frame candles. I got some cheese. Yeah, I'll just like I love that analogy as well, because I think it's it's very true. If you looked at ICT's post yesterday, I mean, look at what he stated. Our own mentor, like he's stating these things clearly, that he's not even he's in a competition where people are thousands, millions of eyes are looking at him, and he's not even trading. Like, think about that. So imagine if you were short in here, you saw that drop lower. Oh, we're running for sell side. Okay, your face is ripped off now. Okay, great. Like, it's a beautiful example, man. Yeah, Brian. It's only one account though, so. But I still think it's pretty clean. I mean, for 24, if you use like a discount code from an influencer or whatever, you save. I saved like 15%. So I think their highest package is 50, and I was not willing to pay that a month. That's ridiculous. But 24, that's doable. I can get with it. I didn't know though. You have to manually enter, not manually, but you have to take all of your data and import it into it. It's not that difficult, but I thought they actually connect to your broker. So it's whatever. MS, yep. Yeah, if you're trading in between basically two new week opening gaps, or if you're just hovering around the current new week opening gap, I mean, that's basically the weekly open, right? If you're hovering around the weekly open for multiple days, that means you're in consolidation. Does that make sense to everybody what we were saying in here? Like, when price dropped off lower, people could easily see the the shorts in here. They're trying to chase that, and now I highly doubt anybody's inside of shorts. How to avoid over trades? I mean, there's a vast formula for that, but I would say staying out of conditions like today so far is going to help you. I mean, you're probably that's such a long topic. I would have to understand what you're over trading on. I'm wearing shorts. What gym do I go to? I mean, it's nothing that chat would know. Because you don't have to, because you have to import it, right? be honest, my fund of futures, they have even a cleaner dashboard than TradeZilla, so I may keep it, I may not. But I'm not the absolute best in the world at journaling at times, so when I pay for something, then I respect it more. I value it a little bit more. I just bought a second 50K account. Can somebody tell me how to switch to that one on TradingView? I think if you just go down here and then you go to accounts, you can switch between the two. You just can't trade copy on TradingView. At least as far as I know, I'm sure there is an application that does so. Hopefully, like, I know I'm not talking too much about price, but hopefully it makes sense why we're not participating in this, why it's a lower probability condition to be in. And I'm sure, like I said, some people can be in here and they can, you know, get lucky, and then they believe that this is a condition that you should be inside of. But it's just overall, when I weigh the options and what I should be risking, I don't want to risk money in this. It's just, if I was to look at this from a business expense, like if I was running a restaurant, I was running whatever business, I would find this a liability. I wouldn't want to put my money inside of this. It's not an asset that's like, wow, like let me trade today. Things can change, of course, but currently, I mean, is this something that you would want to invest money into, like a business? To me, this is like, if you're buying food for a restaurant, this is buying spoiled food. Like it may feed people, but then again, you have the chance of food poisoning. You have the chance of, people giving you bad reviews, giving, a point where safety, commission, whatever comes in and shuts down your business. So at least on the 1 minute time frame, we're just going to tape read this. That's all I'm doing. I'm not stating anything that you should be doing in here. It's the same thing as yesterday. It's like even in conditions where it is lower probability, all you're doing is you're journaling the process of why it's lower probability, and then you're just annotating certain PD rates, seeing how it respects it, disrespects it, etc. If you guys are just tuning in, I see we got a little bit more viewers. If you can like the video, I would appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already. I know there's a large percentage that are not subscribed to my YouTube, so click that both those buttons if you can. News is negative for USD, so be careful. Price wanna, yeah, I mean, news to me, negative, positive, it doesn't mean anything. But do you see in here some people like I can't express it enough. Like if you can't see why it's this low probability, then I can't help you. People are trying to go short, they're trying to go long, especially with these concepts. I'm not just talking about, like, I'm talking strictly with these concepts. They're seeing on a 1 minute time frame. Fair value gap here, try to go long. Okay, stopped out. Okay, we were trying to go short on these fair value gaps, stopped out. Price dropped lower. All right, let me switch my bias. Let me go short now. It's this is a time where you'll blow accounts, you'll blow all your mental capital for the week, and then Thursday or Wednesday, Thursday are beautiful days, and you don't have any more capital left, you don't have any more mental capital left, and you blew it all in a condition like this. Yeah, I see the stream's connection's not the greatest. Give it a second. I'm still here. The stream's good. Like I'm sure it's still up. I don't want to be talking that way. Nobody loses me. I'll let you know. It still says poor currently. So just let me know if things get back to normal for all of you. Once it does, I will continue. Should be better now. Yesterday I ignored this advice and got badly punished. Chop chop, long short. Went to bed and could still hear your voice saying I warned you. Yep. Like I said, I mean, we talked about this yesterday. Is either you're going to learn through your own experience, your own pain, your own losses. Most likely 90% of you are going to do that. You just have to. B, you're going to learn from somebody who has experience. You're going to lean on that. Brother, these are not low probability conditions. This is the way price behaved the last year and a half. I mean, that's your personal opinion. Have fun in this condition. Tell me how you come out of the other end. Do you feel trading since the start of the year has been hard? Yeah, it hasn't been the easiest. I definitely think the conditions are not extremely ripe. But this is the way people complain about price all the time. Like, oh, price sucks. It's low probability, and I get it. It's not ideal, but I mean, what's the other option? It's either you sit still and do nothing, or you be very nimble and you pick your shots carefully. I've been able to maintain profitability this whole year, and that's just by being nimble, picking my shots correctly. When the conditions are ripe, I do the right thing. Good luck. This guy's stream is useless. Yeah, I mean, again, people are gonna say whatever they want. I'm sure that dude's gonna blow his whole account. So have fun, buddy. There was a bearish unicorn entry on the 15-minute as well before the 1-minute open. Don't know how today's low probability. I mean, again, I don't know how else to express it. Like, again, this is my personal opinion, what I'm looking at. I mean, all these people who say that, I mean, they're not going to be here in a few years. And you see why I want to go to a private platform. I don't care about haters. I don't care about negativity. It's just, it's so useless and annoying. How do you get that motivating words at the top of your chart? It's an indicator. It's called AGFX watermark. It's okay, chat. That's it. I pay attention to the more positive. I mean, how many of you are actually learning and doing the right thing? Like over one person? I don't care. It's all good. So, I mean, the only thing I'd be doing right now is just tape reading, and that's really it. I mean, the session sucks. See you later. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if I wasn't live streaming, I'd be off doing something else. It's like watching paint dry. It's just a waste of my time. Like, this is where you can just look at the day and, you'd be like, all right, cool. Like, I'm just going to get a head start on whatever I was doing the rest of the day, and you'll feel so much better about it, man. It's trying to light a cigarette. No, I mean, I do have nicotine. Zins, if you're aware of what that is. I'm down for members chat only. Yeah, I know. I've to be honest with you, I'm getting just drained of the public stuff. I mean, I wanted to do 3 months, but I don't even know if I could do another month of this. I mean, I'll be doing live streaming in the private group, but I may do maybe another week of this, to be honest with you. What does that sound? My bad. I'm opening and closing my headphones case. Fidgeting with something. What is that clicking sound? Sorry, I'm not paying attention. Real money, fake. Mad respect, CJ. Keep up with the patience, brother. I'll join the private platform. Don't care about other people's. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Beefcake. That's awesome. Wait, what? Akbar people spamming ICT to come here on Tanya's stream. Yeah, I told her she should tell ICT. She's super cool, man. Like, she's a killer, man. I wouldn't want to mess with her in terms of trading it. She's pretty damn good. People are very insecure and would, spread hate, but I mean, dude, she's awesome. Most of you here for education, yep. There's a lot of chat in here. Do you have a Zippo? No, I don't. It's not a Zippo. Do you have a private group? Not yet. I missed the beginning of the stream, just wondering why it's low probability. Yeah, I mean, I can go over it just so we're all on the same page, but I mean, some people are not going to believe it's low probability, and that's entirely up to them and their opinion. There's a multitude of reasons for it, but I mean, if you're just mainly looking at, let's look at the 1 hour, right? This is where some people, they just zoom in way too much. Because if I was to go on a 15-minute, 5-minute, and 1 minute, and I just did this, right? And I looked at like a 1 minute, then all I'm seeing is this little segment of price. And I'm seeing, all right, we dropped lower, we're taking sell side, we're rallying higher. But if I go to a 1 hour, and I look at, okay, we're range bound sitting directly smack dab in the middle of the equilibrium of this. Like, basically at the 50%. We have buy side above us, you have sell side beneath us. I'm not trying to push in a condition where I don't know which side it's going to go for. Either side could be tagged. Either side could be ran for. We've discussed earlier how price dropped off lower right at the open. People are trying to chase the shorts because they think it's going to run for the sell side, immediately reverses. It can happen again where we run to the buy side, we stop to where we almost take out the buy side, and then reverse back into the range. So to me, the best option is just to sit still, not do anything, and to me, it's not missing anything. There's a huge distinguishing a difference between missing a trade, missing your entry model, and just sitting out of conditions that are not ripe. Still in planning, yeah, Romer. That's like I said. I'm the more and more I do these, the more I want to push it to a sooner date, like probably within the next week or two, to be honest with you. But we'll see. CJ, why don't you shut off the chat and teach? Because I like interacting with all of you, the people that are in here that ask good questions. That in my downtime, like today, it's good to conversate with all of you. Like I said, I don't. A lot of people, they care about the haters more than I do. I generally don't care. You don't have to go to bat for me. It's fine. Yeah, I would let everybody know about it. Carlo, appreciate that. When was the last time you took us in? I just took one out. If you struggle with the desire to get into a trade, you would want to replace the pain of impatience with pushing for a button for no good reasons. Yeah. Mantis for six sister approach, would you consider ES takes out the low? If it goes there, of course, middle of the range, it's not smart to consider six. Yeah. Because if ES took out its lows, I just don't know. That technically would be a bullish SMT at that time, and I would have to determine, does the NQ want to follow suit to take out the lows? It may not. It may be a bullish SMT, and it may go higher. So, and in this condition where six sister is really easy to utilize when you're in a trending market, because one of them is going to be just lagging behind it, and that's when you can choose and elect to trade that. That would be the easiest, We'll get the torches. I appreciate it, man. You don't have to, though. I mean, it's the same thing we all are, even me with ICT when people attack him, but he doesn't need that. Like, we all know how good he is. We all know the power of these concepts, and people can't see that, then it's fine. Or, you can't get everybody to like you. You can't get everybody to see the same concepts as you. It's okay. Is the news correct that Meta Quotes is removing? Yeah, I mean, it's the reason why I moved away from all those prop firms. I've just mainly focused on futures, especially being in the U.S. It's the best investment currently for me. I would probably move away if you're in the U.S. away from those Forex prop firms. Think PM session, it could, yeah. Like today, something like today is where if we're still inside of this range, after the silver bullet AM, going into lunch, and then moving into PM, it starts moving, then I'd probably like to trade it. So what are we doing in here? We have the inversion getting back above. I'm just annotating. It means nothing to me, but just for the sake of tape reading. We live stream PM? No. People ask me that, but I mean, one live stream is enough for the day for me mentally. It's to be able to just trade in peace for once is it's nice. This is a new day opening gap, so price dropped down into that. That's our new week opening gap there. Do you think PM session will be cleaner? I don't know. It could not. Just depends what price is looking at. You know, what we do in the session, the rest of it, and what we do leading up into it. We have a bunch of buy side above us. Again, you can elect to believe that it wants to rally for it, but could very well just reverse on you. So, what's a good time? I mean, it's the same. It would be the same thing as an AM session. There's no good time frame. No time frame takes over another one. There's definitely significance, but in terms of like parent, higher time frames are always your parent. Can you show the new day, new week opening gaps? Yeah. Just pause your video. I'm going to take it away. So buy side's been taken there. It means nothing to me. ES is not even close to where NQ's trading. How can I access your mentorship? I don't have one. I mean, this is all I have right now. So enjoy while it lasts. Stock Magician. Been watching and lurking lately. Just wanted to say I like your mentality and philosophy on trading. Hope to learn patience and wisdom from you. I appreciate it. It's exactly, you know, my intention here is not for signals, but to learn gain something in terms of wisdom and knowledge and patience. Those type of things are very important. What about a private group? I'll talk. See, this is where when it releases or whenever I do it, I'll have a video over it. I'll talk about it. You will know about it. There's nothing going on right now, so please don't ask. I mean, small inefficiency in here. In terms of tape reading, we're just marking up the areas of inefficiencies. We're looking at it, seeing, all right, how is it respecting it? So from here, I mean, these last two, if I was to enter into a trade here, let's say just for the sake of conversation, if I entered in here, where would my stop loss go? It would go beneath the second one here. Why? Because it could possibly trade into that second fair value gap. I don't want to have a stop loss that would be directly underneath that, right? It would have to go underneath at least the second PD array in here. Give me enough wiggle room for imperfection to take place. Again, this is not a signal. This is just me tape reading. Top CJ quote means nothing to me. Yeah, I mean, it does, man. So it's important to remind yourself of these things. It's the common sayings that I do over and over again, like, it's for a particular reason, to program my mind. Like, it is what it is, means nothing to me. Just to constantly remind myself that, yeah, it doesn't. Look at the 5-minute time frame. We closed above it. It's really wicked price movement here, but Nico, yeah, there's something wrong with the connection. Oki, I don't think there is for the expert account. Are you going to upload content if you are not streaming? I mean, most of it's all going to be private. I'm not going to post things for free. Like if you want it, you're going to have to pay for it. I mean, I've given enough to the point for the last 2 years now, where if you'd ever wanted to pay for something from me, I mean, it's all out there for free. Even this last 2 months, I've given more than enough. What did I point out, Rista? I forget. So if you're looking at the 1 minute, let's just say hypothetically you entered in that first one, your stop loss would go beneath the second one. Let's see if that trade idea works. Hypothetically, right? Yeah, Tom, it is. See, you said something yesterday too. It's very studious. I love that you're learning. It makes sense, man. But yeah, I mean, if we're 75% complete to a draw on liquidity, it's a very trending, easy market type of profile day, then yeah, this would be bread and butter, easy. I'm going to snag that up. And this is where your model, you'll see the multiplier or that little pattern form. But then it's the surrounding ideas and the confluences around that segment or that little pattern that you look for consistently that make it high or low probability. And like I said, I've discussed why this would be a low probability entry pattern. Regardless if it works or not, I don't feel anything about it. There I go again. But it's a horrible RR. Yeah, I mean, in an ideal condition, I wouldn't be entering at the first one. Again, RR to me is not that significant. If you have a high strike rate, RR is not. Doesn't mean really much to me. If you have like a 75% win rate, you could have a negative RR and still do all right. What do you think of ES hesitance of going higher? I mean, all of this is no significance to me. Again, I know I say this, it means nothing to me because none of the information in here would be useful towards me. So anything that price does, any movement, it holds no significance in my mind. Regardless of whatever ES is doing, if it's hesitant, it just nothing. Yeah, Muhammad, I mean, I fully believe that. I think as a new trader, yeah, RR would mean a lot because your strike rate's not going to be high. But even in my beginner's course, I showed that you can have a legitimate negative risk to reward, and if you have a 67% win rate, you can still be profitable. Like, isn't that fascinating? it's pretty crazy. It could, Tom. It's just a unique situation. I mean, it depends on the conditions. If price was really expanding, we were in a hurry to get somewhere, I would elect to choose the first one over the second one because I would anticipate that one to be left as a breakaway. So there's different conditions and uniquely where I would expect this to be open, be left open, and that wouldn't be me chasing price. That's just me expecting the breakaway, anticipating IOFED. It's in a hurry to get somewhere. So every single entry pattern is not going to be the same. They're all unique, and the conditions surrounding it is unique. So it just depends. You can see in here. I mean, you could have chased the longs, and today, like this would have been chasing over leverage. It's just stupid trading in here. If I took any type of trade in here. CJ, keep us live. Okay. Could you please note the bullish breaker? I don't see a bullish breaker. That's the reason I don't have it annotated. 15-minute liquidity sweep on buy side, potential shorts. Again, I'm going to say it again because it's repeating. None of this means anything to me. Anything price is doing in here, it means nothing to me. It signals me to do nothing. I mean, how many different scenarios could have been played out today? Somebody could have went short in here, went long, went short, went long. I mean, the smartest person in the room is doing nothing. How to identify, I saw that low probability versus high probability. I mean, there's so many different variables to that. I've repeated it a lot already, so I'm not going to say it. But if you go back to yesterday's live stream, today's, you'll be able to see kind of what that looks like. How to join your private mentorship? There isn't. I'm eating a banana, so I'm going to put my mic up. Man, I give you props for answer the same questions. Yeah, I said I try to give as much empathy and as much patience as possible towards people. I really do. I'm OCD loving those FEGs. There's a lot. And why do I have them still on here? Well, this could be used as an inversion, right? We close beneath it. We collapse beneath it, so we can utilize it as inversion. Even if we get back above it, that's still an area of inefficiency that you can still utilize. It's just not as fresh as a newer, one that has not been traded into. Once it takes highs or low, does it become more clear? I mean, it definitely gives me some information. It clears up one side of the board. I mean, it would help me, but even at that point, I mean, either you're going to get an outright reversal because you're taking out buy side or sell side, or it may just continue on and leave the other side intact. So it's up to you as the analyst to judge that. Oh, there you are, Jack. ES stuck in the mud. Yeah, it hasn't been doing much today. Like, especially when you're in range-bound conditions, ES is going to be that thing is really difficult to trade when it's in consolidation. It doesn't move anywhere. Like, the only difference with NQ is when it's consolidating, at least you get some decent short-term runs. Like, if you wanted to intraday scalp it, obviously I don't advise that, but that's the difference. Like, ES, you can't even get an intraday scalp. It's just so lethargic and stuck. Yeah, it's internal range, like internal sell side or buy side liquidity raids. They're very useful when you're in a ranging market. I mean, the best example I can give you that most recently happened was the daily time frame. But this can be put into a bunch of other time frames. But if you're in a really easy ranging market, this is my second model that I have, or one of my models was internal sell side or buy side liquidity raid. Is to me, it's really nice where if you have a easily identifiable dealing range and you see internal sell side or buy side, and you see how in here you're taking out internal sell side, you're dropping down into the discount / optional trade entry, and you pair that with some type of PD array, like this volume imbalance. Either you can elect to go long at the discount here, or you can wait for the 2022 model to form inside of it. So if you're in a ranging market, the internal raid model is actually really good. But if you're inside of a consolidation, it means nothing, right? It's useless. Oonga boonga short setup, Nico. What is going on? Only found your channel today, and here you're stopping soon. How do I find? I gotta pull this out. I can't see the rest. I said I don't know if I'm stopping soon or not. How do I find your past videos? Also, it is all ICT teachings. Yeah, I mean everything on my YouTube channel. I do a daily log every single day, which recaps the day. I mean I've been live streaming for the last 2 months, so you can go back through all those. I said I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna stop here shortly or not, but preferably I wanted 3 months, to be honest with you. I wanted to get 3 months done, but it's just I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. I mean, it sounds bad, but being paid for it definitely would motivate me even more to want to do it. But when I'm not getting paid to do any of this, it's especially to deal with the ups and downs, it does drain me a bit. So it's the only reason why I'd want to do it earlier. But I did want to do 3 months just to show everybody that, you know, I could do 3 months of this live, and I just don't want to receive a bunch of backlash to the community, to be honest with you. I'd rather be able to sit here and say that I've done it for 3 months, and that's a good enough time. I mean, I'm here regardless. Even 2 months is pretty darn good. Yeah, even on my Twitter, I mean, I wish in hindsight I kind of regret doing that. I posted all last year my daily logs on Twitter because I thought I'd get more engagement on there, but I didn't. But I have about 50 videos that, I mean, all of those are home run amazing videos as well. I see. Do you know about DXY correlation? Yep. It's just currently we discussed that DXY is just nothing significant for me to utilize. I mean, I can't look at, especially again, this is where you get hyper focused, is people would look at a 1 hour or 15-minute and they see dollar index moving higher like this, right? They see this, so then they would look at NQ and go, okay, NQ needs to trade lower. But this is where you have to zoom out and go, what's the big picture? The dollar index really hasn't moved much. It's not doing anything significant. When you get something like this, where you're in a very large expansive range, then yeah, I can utilize that on NQ. But something like today, yeah, it's not very useful. I'm not looking at the very, intraday volatility. Oh, I mean, whoever said earlier that the stream is useless, and like I'm not trying to draw back on it, but I want you to imagine like what somebody is trying to say in here. Like how could you find this high probability? I don't see the upside to it. I'm trying to understand the logic behind it, because it's such poor advice. Like I just don't see it, man. Unless I'm missing something, guys, please tell me, because I need advice. Are you a charter student? Yes, I am. I guess I forgot I stopped putting that with my titles in the thumbnail. I would constantly chatter to myself, reassuring that something is there. Yeah, I mean, and there isn't, and it's fine. Only thing that happens in this condition is like, this is where, if you're stressing on money and you made this your whole career and you have to push every single day to pay bills, or, even when challenges, man, this was a terrible time to be in the trading industry when all those prop firms had time limits to them. I mean, this is where in a condition like you have 1 week left or a few days left to your challenge and you got a few percent left. It's like you're forced to trade in a condition like this. Like it was such a scam. It was like you can't. be profitable in these conditions. Like, you have 30 days to make 10%, and what happens if 2 weeks is like this? I mean, what am I supposed to do? Like, it's just gambling. Don't drink poison just because you're thirsty. That's a good quote that I just remembered. Muhammad, awesome to hear. Awesome. Paradigm shift, Mr. CJ, being able to come in live, being patient as you are, anticipating low probability conditions is one thing absolutely improving my trading. Awesome, man. I mean, that's the one thing that's going to really push you at least into the zone of probability is staying out of condition like today. Yeah, exactly. Only an impatient and unprofessional trader would say something like that. They just want to push buttons. Yep. It's high probability to get wrecked, yeah. Don't eat yellow snow. How do you know when your consolidation bursts seek and destroy? That's a good question. Well, seek and destroy, right? Like, yesterday was a semi-example of it, where you're wiping out both sides of the board. And that's usually when you don't have, like, any external, like, liquidity above us. In here, we have a lot of external. Like, this is all external above and below. But if you're in a condition, like, where you don't have any, above you, there's no liquidity above or really beneath, you're wiping both sides of the board, and then you're just basically coming back into equilibrium. They're fairly the same conditions. They're both very low probability. If you want to, group them together, if that's easier in your mind, I mean, if you want to look at it that way, yeah. I mean, you could look at it 1 minute, and this is seek and destroy. We're running for sell side, we're running for buy side, coming back into equilibrium in the range. On a bigger fractal, a bigger picture, this is consolidation. On a very littler time frame, it's seek and destroy. So they're both the same thing, basically. How much capital do you think is okay to? Well, I'm sorry. How much capital? Yeah. I mean, you can start with $1,000. I mean, it depends on your broker. I mean, I've seen people put $1,000, $2,000 in. You build it up. I think even if you have $5,000 to $10,000, man, putting that in a live account is probably going to treat you way better than even investing it into any prop firms. That's my personal advice. I think you're going to find a lot better experience doing that. The only thing prop firms will do for you is kind of help your risk management. Because in reality, in your live account, you really shouldn't be drawing down more than 5 to 10%. Like, that's a lot, depending on your risk. Like, prop firms did help me realize that you shouldn't be drawing down, more than 5% on an account at a time. I mean, that's a lot. You still use daily? Yeah, I mean, I preach about narrative higher time frame bias, but there's nothing to utilize currently, so I have to sit still. Did the bodies respecting the 15-minute FEG hint anything to you? No, it means nothing. Use quarter theory. No, I've studied it, yes. I just don't utilize it. You said you're a charter student. Where can I go to do that? It's charter students over with. That was closed like 3 years ago. How expensive was it? I think it was like $2,200 in total for the year. Yeah, A7, I would agree. I mean, look at what ICT's doing. They're all starting out on a $10,000 account and building it. So, if you're newer and you just, you don't feel comfortable going into a prop firm, just put money into a live account and just build it that way. I think the vast majority of people would be better off doing that. You're probably going to save yourself a lot of money from just gambling and going inside of these prop firms and losing money. I mean, they are designed to fail. I mean, it is a business, right? So, I just answered that. I guess we utilized that inversion there. Drifting off lower, closes underneath this. Can we see if it acts as an inversion? It's no signal. I'm just annotating price. That's all I'm doing. You said there's nothing to take. What's something you would want to see? I mean, I would need a significant move above or beneath these both liquidity pools, which were smack dab in the middle of it. Buy side above here, sell side beneath. I would need price to go through either of them to make a decision. And I'm comfortable doing nothing. I'm patient enough to not do anything. AK, thank you. Why don't you use the SMT with the ES? Because when you're in consolidation, it doesn't, to me, that people are getting annoyed. Anything that's happening in here means nothing to me. It means nothing because if you're in consolidation, every single fluctuant of price is not significant. It's not like, ooh, like this is important. This is something that I need to look at. It means nothing to me because you're in consolidation. So every single little movement, SMT, for value gap, the significance behind it is nothing. I started a live account and never blown one, but challenges I've blown. Such a different psychology. Yeah, I think the industry is filled with going into these prop challenges, but I think a lot of people would do better off in a live account. Bummer, I was super excited about learning from you guys. I've had a hard time listening to Ice-T. What are you bummed about? Yeah, I mean, he does ramble, but he's good for your soul. Are these conditions tough because of all the all-time highs or just normal conditions? I think it's a combination of both, but as far as seasonal tendencies, and I mean, usually like spring is consolidation. As we move into March and April, the market should open up a little bit more. And that's really, if you look at IC, what he's waiting for. He's waiting for more, a swing open environment where he can pyramid. Like, he's not going to pyramid inside of this. That's his whole strategy behind this whole Robin's Cup. It's called optimal, shit, man, I forget. Optimal C? I don't know. He told us the strategy behind, like, years ago, what you would do for a Robin's Cup. And you pyramid, you start with 4.5% risk and you pyramid into it. Like, it's a crazy amount of risk, but if you're in good conditions, I mean, you could start with a 4.5% risk, trade, and then pyramid into it, end up being, 10-15% risk, but you come out of it making 50 to 100%. I mean, it's a crazy way of trading, but like, I understand the conditions he's waiting for. Yeah, okay. Or if one of my mods, or a mod, would answer the questions, Justin. I'm just giving you shit. Yeah, Crazy Eddie, good advice. Thank you for that. For those who are wondering about live accounts and brokers. You said charter. Oh. Yeah, but I mean, charter ended 3 years ago. I mean, all the everything that I've learned is now on YouTube for free. Everything I paid for with money, you guys now have it for free. So, I mean, you guys won in the end. Just found you last Thursday and been learning a lot. I mean, that's the reason why I just don't know if I want to stop doing these lives, because there's a lot of new people that come to me, and it's like, man, if I stop, then I may not, somebody may not find me. I don't know. Scan the scanner, trade prop firm account as if it's 1/10 the value they say it is, and build slowly. Yeah, I trade prop firms. Do you trade a lot during the summer? Depends. It's optimal T. Is it optimal T? I forget. Probably is. Average viewers slowly but growing steadily. Yeah. I mean, Tanya's definitely got, the vast majority. If she wasn't streaming, I think obviously the stream would be a lot bigger. That's no diss to her. I mean, she deserves it all. But I mean, you have to think it's just a saturated community. There's so many eyes everywhere. So many content creators. Is he winning Robins? Yeah, I think he will. He's not even in the top 5, which, if you look at his old tweets, I mean, he even said this. He's like, let them all have this false sense of security and confidence, and he's like, then I'll just soar past him. He knows what he's doing. Like, I have no doubt in my mind. Tyson, yeah, I mean, I don't think you're wrong on that. I think we all agree. Like, he does ramble a lot. There's a lot of parts that probably are not needed, but you have to take the good with the bad. I try my best as a mentor to try to basically improve upon where ICT was maybe not the best in terms of being a mentor, like delivery-wise. But even me, I have my flaws. So I just know from a personal student experience what is not needed to sit and listen to. I don't think I could ever risk more than 1.5% on an account. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of risk. It's a lot of risk to endure. Thank you, Danny. Good to see you in here, brother. Optimal F, that's what I was thinking of. I just don't think trading the afternoon session, I don't think many people are on either way. So it'd be a lose-lose regardless. I think many people go off and they do their stuff, and I think the PM, I think I would have less fears than I do now. So just have to take it, the good with the bad. I mean, I'm still extremely grateful. I mean, there's 650 people in here. I try to visualize, like, if there's 650 people inside of a room right now looking at me, I'd be like, holy shit. Like, that's a lot of people. There you go. 1840, yeah, I mean, we got about 10 minutes left, so we're inside of this macro. So we're going to see if this end of silver bullet macro is going to be in play here. Am I going to be trading anything? No. Like, I hope throughout these live streams, and I hope by the end of the week that, you could see that sitting out, let's say the first 2 days of the week were very useful. You saved capital, you saved mental capital, and then let's say tomorrow, Thursday and Friday were very clean days. It's like, man, it's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. A7, I don't know, my brother. I mean, I know a lot of you are probably in Tanya's stream trying to get him to come over here. I don't know. I don't know why he hasn't. In my opinion, there's no way he's not seen my streams, but I don't know. Do I really care? No. That'd be cool, but either that or I'm really shadow banned to the point where it doesn't even show up on people's feeds unless you're subscribed. I mean, that could be a possibility. Oh, yeah, let's see if we want to trade to 1840, what ICT is apparently looking at. So we're inside of the macro. Anytime you've been consolidating all throughout the silver bullet, I mean, sometimes the end of the silver bullet macro can provide speed and a little bit of volatility into the market. You said on Sunday that Thursday and Friday may be the only good day. Yeah, I think, again, you can see through a weekly forecast. I can mainly look at price and go, what are the best days? So, I mean, I already knew that going into this week that we're probably going to be consolidating. Go back to my weekly forecast and what I said. I said Monday, Tuesday, possibly Wednesday are going to be consolidating. This is not a mysterious, unpredictable thing for me, and it shouldn't be for you either. DXY fell off a cliff. Did I miss something? Let me see. See, some people, I don't know what fell off a cliff to some people means, so let me look. Yeah, it's not a cliff. That'd be maybe a small little pothole. And what part of your journey did you set up for the 1 minute and why? It's a good question, but I do want to make the emphasis that I'm not only looking at a 1 minute. I look at every single time frame. I utilize every single time frame. It's very important to utilize them all. But The reason I utilize the 1 minute is because I can, I like being an intraday scalper. B, I can reduce my risk. I think probably up until, I don't know, about 2 years ago, I started looking at the 1 minute and utilizing it. Why are you shadow banned? Because I talk about things sometimes I shouldn't be talking about that YouTube doesn't like. You're a base watching at work. If you do afternoon sessions, I could do this after work. All right. I mean, I may, especially in like a private group. I mean, I'd be willing. Like, I'm getting paid to do it. Like, my perception about that is like I would always over deliver on everything. Like, if I could, I'd probably do 2 live sessions in the private group. I wouldn't even really mind it. But that's only if the PM session would be viable. If not, then no, I'm not going to do both every day. Just kind of enticing over trading. What's the concept behind selecting the inversion? I mean, inversions for me are always a confluence with like a fair value gap. That if I have one, inversions, I know there's a lot of talk about them, but you can utilize them in a lot of ways. You can utilize them in terms of, price changing its delivery from bullish to bearish. Like in here, price was bearish. This was a SIBI. When we closed above it, that's telling you, okay, price may be changing from this state of delivery, which was bearish, to now bullish. Price drops back down into it, utilizes that as support, then expands higher. Do you have any in-depth lessons explaining macros? I mean, from my perspective, it's all it is. People make it way more than it is. Nor do we even know the full spectrum of them. ICT's talked about this. He hasn't talked about or taught everything about them. All that we know is that it is a 20-minute window. But if you're just taking the silver bullet, a 20-minute window before the silver bullet, a 20-minute window after the silver bullet. And during those times, you can anticipate that price may have volatility in it. If the signatures to when to utilize it, they're unique. But for me, if price has been consolidating for the most part of the AM session, silver bullet, then I'll look to see during the macro at the end of the silver bullet if speed and volatility can be induced into it. What ICT has said is that it's a set of instructions that come into the algorithm to move price to a certain drawn liquidity. I mean, most of the time that, if things are lining up, my entry pattern will happen, and then in confluence, I'll have the macro. And it's like, all right, cool. I know that I should expect speed in this 20-minute window. I hope today was a good learning lesson. I know this is extremely boring. Like, it's not fun. This is like watching paint dry or watching grass grow. It's not fun. And this is why, to me, you're just wasting your time. You're wasting valuable time of your life. If you're aware of these conditions like myself, and I understand what they are, and I can see it before it happens, I'm not even going to trade the session. I'm going to sleep in that day. I'm going to go to the gym earlier. I'm going to get my day started earlier. And I don't have to stress about it. I don't have to be, induced. I don't have to, FOMO into position. Even myself, if I sit at a chart long enough, like sometimes I can see something because I'm impatient, I'm bored, I want to do something. But if you don't even give yourself that option, you don't lean into the temptation, then, you're obviously not going to make a mistake. But if you're not experienced enough, you don't know what these conditions are, you haven't traded through them, don't know how to anticipate them, then yes, you have to sit through them so you understand, like, man, this is so boring. I hate this. I don't want to trade in this. Like, that's, to me, I've reached that point, and if I wasn't live streaming as I stated before, then just do something else with your life. Charts will be here tomorrow. They're not going anywhere. They're not going to run off the internet. A7, yeah, that's a beautiful explanation. And macros usually move. They start or accelerate during, the macro. Nico, do you? I do too. I'm kidding. Thank you on the macro discussion. People make a big deal out of it, and I had to remove it from my analysis. Yeah, everything in these, let's say the tool shed of ICT, there's nothing that really takes significance over another. Yes, there's certain layers and orders to things, but for the most part, they're all pretty equal. You just have to find the right combination, the right, recipe for you. There's nothing that's, better than another. It's just how you personally utilize it and interpret it. Listening to you during consolidation made me understand the job of being a trader. Exactly. This is, people that post on social media, the Lamborghinis, the beach lifestyle. I mean, are they posting this? No, because this is boring. This is not what it would entice somebody to buy their course or their mentorship. Like, this is raw as it gets. This is really boring, stupid to be inside of trading. Like, if you saw somebody trading inside of this, I mean, I'd run far away from them, personally. CJ, what's your favorite prop firm? That would be My Funded Futures. And I'm not biased because I'm partnered with them. It's just because I think that they're the best. I try to be authentic as possible. I personally love them. I think they're going to revolutionize the funded futures arena. Just as their sister company, they changed. I mean, you have to remember, they changed the entire Forex prop firm from timed calendar challenges to no trade, no time limit. That was huge, man. That was massive, a massive change. They got FTMO to do it. My Funded Forex, they got everybody to do it. So, I mean, they're very huge in the space in terms of creating new ideas, inventing new things. I mean, they're great. Derek, sitting in these live streams literally forces you to submit to time and being patient. I really didn't understand how long trades take to set up and hit targets. This helped me tremendously. Awesome. Yeah, I think in backtesting too, if you do a lot of backtesting, it's like you don't realize the time, and like each tick, each movement is, especially for a newer trader, man, it is emotionally charging. You're looking at every single movement, even if it goes against you, you're feeling a lot of emotions going for you. You're feeling a lot of emotions, but over time, you disconnect from that feeling. CJ, I like this attitude. Awesome. The chasing time starts at 8:30. Yes, if not, correct me. What is the best time for silver bullet? I wouldn't word it chasing time. Maybe you misworded it. But as far as the silver bullet, it's from 10 o'clock New York local central time to 11 o'clock. Meant funding was the first no time limit. Forgive me, it probably was. But I just know that My Funded FX, they were very popular and they definitely made a huge impact on the industry. Okay, definitely probably then next year. This is something I forgot to mention. I actually talked with the Darwin. If you guys know what Darwin X is, I'm sure some of you don't. I actually, you know what? I could plug them real quick. I haven't done that, and I will put that in here if anybody's interested. Again, I'm not going to be talking about really price much more. So, but let me do this real quick because he was an awesome dude. I had a great conversation with Darwin X. You can save 90% off your initial fee with Darwin X. Let me make sure this is the right link. I don't want to send something in here. I'll go over what Darwin X is if you're not familiar. But to go back to your question, Oki, as far as what I want to do, I want to start building my Darwin X once they release futures, which should be in the next week or two here. I just talked to him. Jack, don't mind the message I'm going to send you. I just want to make sure this is the right thing. Okay, cool. So give me 1 second. Nico, dude, you're hilarious. So the link I sent, this is for Darwin X, or actually Darwin 0/Darwin X. And if you guys don't know what that is, it is it's similar to a prop firm, but basically you pay a monthly subscription, about $38, and the link I posted, you can save 90% off of the initial fee. But basically, is you're creating a track record, and I'll show it real quick on screen, just because I actually believe this is where most people should put their attention over time, because this is, if you're thinking long term, you want to you want to have a large amount of capital from investors rather than prop firms or even your own money. I think going this route is extremely useful. Can I please get out of this? Okay, I may have to go to Darwin 0. Give me 1 second, bear with me. Type a 1 in the chat if you know what Darwin is. That way I know where everybody's at. Big rollout. Nico's joking. You guys are hilarious. All right, so let me show Darwin real quick. If I can get it up on the screen here. All right. So this is Darwin 0. You could compare it to a prop firm, but it's a little bit different. So with them, you pay a monthly fee of about $38 USD. There is a initial fee which I posted the link. You can save 90% off if you'd like. And I'm only plugging it because I think that they're great, and I had a good conversation with him. So basically, there's no drawdown limit. There's nothing like that. You're solely judged on your performance. So what will happen is you're going to go through a calibration stage. They're going to judge your performance, and there's a little calculator on here. You can judge, what you've been doing and your drawdown, because it's basically a system, an AI that calculates it for you. So based off of your percentage each month and your drawdown, it's going to give you a certain amount of allocation that they'll give you. So the first stage, you'll receive 30K to 375 for a 3-month period. If you're able to maintain this and you're able to do well, you'll move up to a 500K account. And if you maintain this for a 6-month period, then you can move into a third stage, which is investors. So they already have investors that look at their page, and if an investor sees your profile, they see what you're doing. It's a verified track record. They can invest into you, investors, and start allocating you money. Now, this is where most people's minds are skewed from prop firms. You only get 15% of the money you make, which is completely normal in a actual investors, world. Prop firm is very skewed, but the whole point in this is if I'm able to get to a point where, you're able to have a verified track record, you have third-party investors investing into you, you can have this, and then the final stage would be having your own brand, your own investors, and over time you could get up to 10 million, 15 million, 20 million in dollars, right, as your trading capital, and you're taking 15% of that. And you also have a verified third-party track record that you can now go out and, if you want to attract your own investors, own people with money, you can give that to them. Because most people are not going to accept your little, certificate and your little payout proof from a online prop firm. It's not going to fly, especially in a real investor world. It's not going to happen. So in here, you're able to attract a lot of money, have a verified track record for a very low cost. I think it's very good. But they don't have a futures program yet. It's releasing in about, I'd say about 2 weeks here. So I'm waiting for that, and then I'm going to start up with them. Again, you can trade copy, it doesn't have to be sold your main full focus. You can just trade copy it with your other accounts. So hopefully that makes sense. If you want to check it out, it's cool. If not, Darwin X0, there is a difference. Darwin X0 is for U.S. Residents. Darwin X is for people outside of the U.S. So hopefully that helps if you're interested. I think it's another good route to go, especially if you having struggles with prop firms. You can't pass the challenges. You don't have to pass the challenge. You just trade how you trade, and then you get allocated money for your performance. 2 to 3% monthly for 2 years, you're good to go. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to do these large feats, where you have to make 8 to 10%. I mean, you could do very low percentage and get allocated a bunch of money. Like, it's a very good way of getting invested in thinking long term. Like, most people are only thinking day to day. I'm thinking very, where do I want to be at in 10, 15 years from now? Well, it would be cool to have, 10, 20, 30, 40 million of investors' capital. None of my own. I don't have to take out of my own bank account, and I can utilize somebody else's money to make money. It's a win-win. Where can you change the language? I don't know. Waiting for the same to join Darwin. What up, Wazy? Yeah. Uh, I had a Zoom call with the guy who runs Darwin last week. I forgot to mention it, but he was super cool, man. And they should be releasing in about 2 weeks here. What kind of returns does it take? If you go to their website and you go underneath the tab capital allocation, there's going to be a little calculator in there. So it depends on your return / your drawdown. They calculate both. It's not just how much percentage you return. It also has to calculate your drawdown. Because when you're in a real investor environment, they're looking at your drawdown. They're looking at, they want to see very little drawdown. Like, if you could do 1% of drawdown, 2% of drawdown with 3, 4, 5% of gains, that's really good. Like, that in terms of risk reward, you want to have very low drawdown and very good, reward. Kevin, that's all right. I hope everything goes all right. A7, yeah, it's definitely look into it. I definitely recommend them. It's a long-term mindset type of game, but if you're here for it, you want to build a career, I'd recommend it. Any penalty? Nope. You have no risk to yourself. All you would end up losing is you lose either access to the account, and then I mean that's the thing. There is no overall drawdown. Like, the overall drawdown in their accounts is if you blow the whole account. But each stage, let's say you have 500K capital, you're in gold. If you start doing worse in your performance, they're going to push you back down to silver, and vice versa. If you do bad in the silver calibration, they're going to push you back down to the calibration stage. So, all right, Jack. Good luck. Link for the UK. If you just type in Darwin X, you'll see it. Yeah, so we're at the end of the silver bullet macro. I mean, that's really going to be it for today. I hope you guys were able to understand how to stay out of condition like today. Even yesterday, this is going to wear thin on people that are less experienced. After a day, you could do a day of consolidation. You can be in a day where you can wait it out, and then you get to your second day, and you're like, man, I want to take a trade. I'm getting impatient here. I got to do something. The market will stay in consolidation longer than you can have capital for. I mean, it's going to stay like this for however long. I can't force it to do anything. So the best, smartest decision is to do nothing. It's the best investment you can make. Yeah, exactly. There's so many avenues to expand upwards. Yeah. Took third L this week today. That's all right. I mean, just figure out what you did wrong. Yeah, that's going to be it. I know there's probably going to be a lot more questions. I'll stay on here answering them. But I appreciate all you guys being on here. I really do. It's been a great session today. Even though it's been boring, there's no trades taken. It's a very good learning lesson. Try to put this into your journal and really talk about it and embed it into your mind. So when you see something like this and I'm not here with you, it can ring in your head. What would I be saying? What would ICT be saying? Those are the common thoughts that I have. It's like, what would ICT be doing in this condition? He would be doing nothing. So it's the reason why I don't do anything. Yeah, it's going to be it for today. I'll update tonight with the daily log. And until tomorrow, good luck and good at trading.